You guys know, you already know, I don't have a sponsor. I sponsor myself. So I've got this company. It's called Pro Seasoning. My all-purpose spice blend is made with Himalayan pink salt. It is all natural. There's no anti-caking agents other than rice. We use ground up rice as an anti-caking agent. There's no silicone dioxide. It is a perfectly balanced one and done all-purpose seasoning that you can put in everything. My dad says put it in everything except for your fruit salad. My steak seasoning is made with porcini mushroom. This is gonna knock your socks off. It is my opus to a great steak. It is also made with Himalayan pink salt. There's also no silicone dioxide in this recipe. You can just sprinkle this on your steak. I would liberally coat it, sear it in a cast iron skillet, cook it to medium rare. It's gonna be one of the most delicious things you ever ate. You can also use it in chicken salad or just to season your vegetables. The porcini mushroom has big umami flavor. There's cracked black pepper. There's shallots. There's garlic. You're gonna love this. And my barbecue spice is made with coffee. It's a coffee barbecue spice. You can use this on chicken wings in the air fryer to give it like a little barbecue flavor. There's a little bit of brown sugar in it. This is really great for roasted root vegetables. You drizzle with a little bit of honey. Great for barbecue chicken. Great for brisket. This is like, there's nothing like this on the market. You're gonna love this barbecue spice. So head to chefnikki.net and order today. Do you want to talk about food? I want to talk about food. Let's talk about food. What else are we gonna do? We got nothing else to do. Let's go. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Nikki Talks Food. This is episode 5. And today I have a very, very special guest with me. My guest is a chef I've been admiring from afar for many years. Chef Kimberly Brock Brown is a world-renowned chef, celebrated author. You might recognize her from a recipe contribution in the book Toques in Black. And if you have not looked up that book or heard about that book, you need to definitely look it up. She is the immediate past president of the American Culinary Federation. She was the national president. She's a continuing board member of the American Culinary Federation until recently, and we'll get more on that in a follow-up episode coming soon, so stay tuned on that. Kimberly Brock Brown has been affiliated with the ACF since the mid-1980s, rising through the ranks of leadership. Since 2017, she has spoken to culinary students in the United States, the Caribbean, and overseas. In 2022, she represented the American Culinary Federation at the World Association of Chefs, otherwise known as WACS, in Abu Dhabi. And she was inducted into the American Academy of Chefs in 2003. I cannot say enough about this chef, her extraordinary career, her positive impact on professionalism, influence on women in the culinary industry. She's an all-around star. I'm extremely happy and humbled that she agreed to be on my little podcast. Thank you for joining me, Chef Kimberly Brock Brown.
It is my joy to be here on your little podcast. I would never say that. Never, ever. As Prince would say, baby, you're a star.
Oh, stop it some more. Well, you know, it's so great. You're just such a you have such a positive vibe, you know. It's just so great to talk to you. And you've had an extraordinary career, from traveling internationally as a former national president of the American Culinary Federation to authoring books. It seems like you have an engine driving you to stay in the field of food in some way, shape, or form. What do you think fuels that engine, where you've just been in food since the 1980s, and you continue to write and inspire? Where does the fuel come from for that engine?
Yeah, growing up in a household of mom and dad who both appreciated food, good food. We grew food. We went picking and harvesting our own food sometimes too. Just having a love of food and appreciation of, especially now on this side of the kitchen, seeing other people enjoy what you do, you know, and seeing that finished plate comes back and it's clean, it's scraped, or having people
Yes.
ask for seconds, you know, I think it's such a satisfying, and it's universal. No matter where you go, you got to eat, and you want to try good foods. You want to try different cuisines, and you know, and see what's out there. You know, the squash over here is not the same as the squash over there, you know, across the water and
Yeah.
other countries that I've gone. So just to explore and taste. I'm just like coffee. You get different kinds of coffee, different types of chocolate. Depends on where it's grown.
Yeah.
Food is the same way anywhere. And so just to explore that, there's so many things that I don't know, so many spices, flavor, herbs. I want to try that and see what I can do and play with. You know, I love playing with food, you know, and then seeing how that comes across to somebody when they're enjoying it.
Yeah, you mentioned like the clean plate. That is definitely like the applause,
Hmm.
even if you don't say it, if you get a clean plate, I'm like, yes. If there's food on the plate, I'm like, it's
Like,
directly tied to
go.
my self-worth.
Yeah. Like, like good, it's
You know?
like, yes, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Um and you mentioned like there's different foods, all over the world. I remember tasting a strawberry in Italy, and it was like candy, you know. You've been to several countries. Your passport is probably like stamped up, and it sucks when you have to get a new one. Like I just
Ugh.
replaced mine, and I'm like,
I
oh my
know
god,
I
all my
want to have to get rid of it.
stamps.
I know.
So I hate it. But where have where have you been that you're like the this produce is unbelievable, or what is anything stick out in your mind where you're like, I have got to bring information to people about this food from this country.
I was amazed at the difference in the flavors and the variety of the produce when I was in Serbia.
Ooh,
Um,
Serbia.
and people were when I was posting online, and people were telling me you should go to Croatia and taste their tomatoes. Like, oh my God, I can't get there. But but
Yeah.
just to hear that feedback of how just the earth, the good earth is so different of how things are grown, and the flavor profiles are just so affected by it. And so just I had really good different vegetables when I was in South Africa. It was like, oh my God, we don't have this over here. What is
Mm,
that? This is not
yeah.
spinach. What is this? And just to taste and see what they have that we don't have. I remember we were in Johannesburg and we went to, I think, the regions. I know for sure on that continent, the largest market. Like they had market halls, just the produce. Then they have market halls just for, like the size of two football fields, just full of fresh produce that they were shipping out to different parts of the continent. And it was just to see all that fresh food coming in and knowing that we don't have some of those varieties in our continent because it's indigenous to there. And just wanting to eat and try how they're cooking their foods and what it is. It was just it's amazing.
Yeah, it's almost like a selective. I mean, we could get any kind of food from anywhere in the world, but it's like a selective what sells, as to why we don't get, like, we just started getting, like, in the grocery store, rainbow carrots and
Oh.
different types of little new potatoes that are, purple, and all these different colors.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's just like as we get more educated on the foods, and distributors, we're kind of at their mercy, and they just kind of figure what they try and look at the trends and then see what's going to sell, because they're not going to import a bunch of potatoes that are teeny tiny small and different
And
colors.
then what's the cost of you trying to make the best out of it? It still is a business. And so, am
Mm-hmm.
I going to pay? You can even do that with local foods now. When things are in season, the price is the best and the food is the best. But when they're out of season, so, here in South Carolina, why do I want to get raspberries from California when they're out of season here? And so now I got to pay for them to be shipped and the flavor might not be as great
Mm-hmm.
and blah. And so am I going to pay normally $20 for a flat of raspberries, and then when they're out of season, I'm paying 80, and they might not be great.
Yeah,
The ones on top look good, and you get to the bottom, it's like, oh my God, throw them away, make them
throw them away.
puree. So it's even here too. So you gotta, at some point, how much are you willing to pay, or your customers are willing to pay for that
Yeah.
experience of trying and tasting something different.
Yeah, like, the closer you are to your food source, the more vitamins and minerals you retain, right? Like, so a
I agree.
potato that's grown in California, by the time it's shipped here to Tallahassee, which is the edge of the universe, the shipping here, yeah, I never experienced anything like this in my whole life. So I've been here in Tallahassee 11 years, and I'm from South Florida, which is like a hub of shipping. You can get anything
Hmm.
you want at any time. It doesn't matter. Anything you want in the whole wide world.
Right.
Um, but here in Tallahassee, because it's kind of like almost like a dead zone, And I don't think it's not really like we're in a food desert or anything. But what I learned was that different distributors like Cisco and Cheney Brothers and stuff, they would they would shuttle the truck to another city, and the truck would sit
Hmm.
overnight, and then it would shuttle to Tallahassee. And so it ended up that like your bananas, if they're refrigerated overnight, what happens to them? They turn brown, right? So we would get we would have to turn some produce away because in Tallahassee it's just weird like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lot of little urban farms, which are cool. Like we have little urban farms. There used to be one on the street that I lived on, and these two little hippie chicks took over they were squatters
Wow.
on a lot, and they called it 10-speed greens, and we lived on that same street, so we would walk our dog we'd go like, oh, I want a pound of beets, and she'd go, okay, and she'd go over there and she'd rip them out of the ground, dust them off, and she'd give us the beets, you know what I mean?
Wow.
It was so rad.
God. Oh my God. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Have you seen anything like, does South Carolina have like a robust like local produce?
Yeah, because we
Um,
have Johns Island is mostly where most of our our farms are. I mean, but we have. I mean, I made sure I took the kids because I experienced that when I was growing up, going to
mhm.
pick fruit and vegetables, right? And
Yes.
so, we can go pick strawberries when it's in season. You
Mhm.
go and harvest some corn. You go different. The sugar cane. They a lot of farms. There's farmer markets here like every week. Just pick a town, and the farmers are coming to you to bring you the fresh produce. So yeah, there's a very good growing season. And remember South Carolina also, especially in the low country where I am in Charleston area, it was flooded and planted for rice, and corn. So we have an abundance of
Yes.
things, and the seasons are great to grow. So we do have local produce here.
Carolina gold rice.
There you
Right?
go. And Carolina has actually more peaches than Georgia, even though it begins with a
Really?
name. Yeah, but peaches per capita is in South Carolina.
Really? I didn't know that.
Hmm.
Yeah, we're
Hmm.
very close. So Tallahassee's like I mean I don't know who screwed up when they made this a territory, but like, this definitely should be South Georgia. Like
Hmm.
it's like if you look at the shape of Florida, it's kind of weird that we ended up in
In
Florida still.
Florida,
But
not Georgia.
yeah, we're like 20 minutes from Georgia, 30 minutes from Georgia. So
Hmm.
we're very, it's like a very South Georgia. So we get like really good, we get pretty good peaches and pecans and
Oh yeah.
peanuts. They grow a lot of peanuts around here. Boiling peanuts is like, I mean, it's as soon as football season starts, forget it.
Oh, I don't have to
Boiled
wait for
peanuts
football season.
everywhere.
Yeah, like those bumper stickers. I break for boiled peanuts. Like, oh my God, it took me a
Yeah.
while to get to the boiled peanut part. I mean, I'll eat them, but I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna
I
break for them.
love them. I
I do
love.
too now, but I still grew up on dry roasting. I'm from Chicago, so
Oh
dry
yeah,
roast.
that's right.
Hmm.
You're from the Midwest technically.
Yeah, yeah.
So what, like it was culture shock for me moving to the South because Tallahassee's the South, and now I feel like I've pretty much assimilated. In South Florida is more tropical, Caribbean, Latin, obviously. And so soul food, uh, that's South Florida, but then
Hmm.
here in the South, I never knew. I worked with a very I worked with this old school chef, man. I love her so much, Jenny. She was she was awesome. She actually was a chef for one of the governors. I think it was Jeb Bush, maybe. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
anyway, she worked at the governor's mansion. She was cool. She was in fact we had not to go. I tend to tell little stories or whatever, but like we had when I worked at Florida State, I worked with Jenny. She was the executive chef of the whole campus, and like
Hmm.
we had the Seminole tribe was coming to one of the games. It was the Miami game. It was a big game.
Yeah.
Florida State versus Miami is a huge game. And so the Seminole tribe comes and everything is sanctioned by the Seminole tribe, and when they come, it's like a big deal. So we had like crab cakes and filet mignon and all this stuff, and the servers were eating the crab cakes, and she was like, "If I see one more server eating a crab cake, I'm gonna reach down your throat and pull out your tonsils."
Oh my God.
Everybody's crying. HR, like,
My God.
so funny. Anyway, she taught me a lot about southern cooking because I didn't really know a lot about. I didn't know about country ham. I didn't know about
Wow.
all this
Red
cool
eye
stuff.
gravy? What? Biscuits and gravy? What?
Yes. Grits. Grits as far as the eye can see. And like, here there's like Bumpy Road Grits. I think that farm might have closed, but we got this farm that does just grits, and people are very serious about their grits around here. And I didn't know about how to make like an actual heirloom grit. So,
you made a grit. You made an heirloom grit.
heirloom grit, I tell you. But now, I prefer them. They're so good. There's so much texture there, So that's been
Yeah.
like my introduction into the South, and now it's been, like I said, 11 years. How long you been in South Carolina?
We moved here in '94, so it's been a minute.
Okay. Oh yeah,
But
been a minute.
from Chicago, I went to Dallas first. So I got the Southwest, Dallas, Fort
Yeah,
Worth area, so where East meets West, and yeah, I
yeah,
got that Tex-Mex first, whatever, and I loved that culture, and that whole cuisine thing, whatever. So it was good for me.
yeah. Would you say you're more of like a Southern, like when you cook savory foods? Would you say you're more Southern influenced or Midwest influenced? Oh, and I also want to ask you how you take your hot dog, but that's next.
Chicago style, don't play me.
Chicago
I was
style, right?
born Midwestern. No, we were talking about that earlier. If I have my druthers, because here's rice capital. I know people who got to have rice every day. Like,
Mm,
no, I'll take potatoes because I'm still Midwest. I'll take the potato over the rice anytime.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
That is very Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll take potatoes. You can fix them 1,000 ways, whatever. So I'll take potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I grew up eating all that stuff. I mean, it took me a while to eat. Grew up eating rice aroni, right? And rice at breakfast for a cereal. So sugar and butter on my rice at breakfast with the scrambled egg
Wow.
and sausage, whatever, whatever. I mean, it was grits, the corn, the cream of wheat, the
Yeah.
oatmeal, the rice. Pick one every day, and because we're
Mm-hmm.
walking to school, and it's Chicago, so it's cold, and so it felt
Yeah.
good. It had that warmth in you, whatever. But the way we always ate it, it took me a long time to get used to eating rice savory because I always had sugar and butter on it in the morning for breakfast, and whatever was
Mm.
left over, it was rice pudding.
Oh yeah. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, you're like, no, that's breakfast. That's the sweet food.
Yeah. I don't want any rice with that, and if my mom was going to smother something, and we had gravy, then it was going to go with potatoes or some
Yeah.
egg noodles, whatever. It was never
Mm.
with rice. We didn't grow up with that.
Love an egg noodle. Love an egg noodle. I really do.
Yeah.
I love an egg
I,
noodle.
I do too. I do too. See, so
So good.
it'll be for me potatoes. Then I go with the pasta noodle thing, and then I get to
Yeah.
the rice. That's just the way I would. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely more Midwest with my cuisine. But I
Yeah.
but my mother, she's from Missouri, born and raised.
Mm-hmm.
We considered the South. My father was from
Yes.
Mississippi, which is definitely in the South.
Yes.
So we had the Southern cultures in our house growing up, in addition to that Chicago style hot dog with the sport peppers and poppy seed bun. Yeah,
Oh, it has a pop. See, I don't really know. I actually really
yeah,
know what in that.
Chicago
What is
style
what
poppy
is a
seed bun.
classic? Yeah, classic Chicago hot dog is poppy seed bun and what else?
The Vienna beef hot dog.
Oh yeah.
The neon fluorescent green pickle relish, sliced tomato, sport pepper, never ever ever ketchup, never ever mustard onion.
Really? No mustard?
No, mustard
Wow.
and onion, but never ever ketchup.
Oh, okay.
You got a
Nice.
sliced
No
tomato,
ketchup.
but you never no ketchup.
Oh,
Oh
you would
my
hate
God,
the way I
you
eat a hot dog. It's shameful. Like it's so stupid. Like I don't even. I put cheese on it. It's so bad.
no,
But
well,
South
you have
Florida.
variety, but the traditional Chicago dog would be
Yeah.
that. And then
Yeah.
of course if you're at a joint, then they're taking the hot dogs and they got the fresh cut fries and they put them all together and just roll it up and give it to you.
Dude, that
So
sounds so good.
I
Yeah.
love. I mean, I'm telling you, I can just. I'm
You
done.
got
Just
you
give
got
me
anybody you
two.
got anywhere
Yeah.
in South Carolina that has a good dog like that?
No.
No.
There used to be
Your
one
kitchen.
spot. There was one spot that had it, and they did a pretty good job of it. At least they have Vienna beef because it's very hard to find the Vienna beef hot dogs or Vienna. You know who used to have it though was Sam's Club in their little deli department. They
Mm.
would sell you a hot dog that was Vienna beef. And somebody else that was just I was surprised to see it. Like, oh my God, go there and get that you would not think of for a hot dog. Like, yeah, you gonna beef here? Because it's not the norm here.
Yeah. My buddy opened up he's a very accomplished chef, and he opened up a little food truck. It's called Duck Fat Dogs. It's hot dogs grilled in duck fat. It's in South
I
Florida.
love it.
So if anybody's
Okay,
down in South Florida and they need to like a
get your
little
hot
food
dog
truck.
on.
Yeah, or a food truck for your party or whatever. Hit my
Oh,
homeboy up at Duck Fat Dogs. I haven't tried it, but he's a very accomplished chef, and when I see the stuff that he makes, I'm like, dude, I gotta try that. Okay, we would.
Does he have French fries, and is that in duck fat too? Because I'm there
I
already.
think so. He's
I'm there
big on the
already.
duck fat. Like, ugh, and that is, and
Yeah.
you know that like a duck fat French fry is like one of the most
Mm-hmm.
amazing things that
Yeah.
Earth has given us. That these creative minds
I think
have
I just
given
gained
us,
five
you
pounds
know?
just having this conversation.
I
Stop.
know. I started frying my chicken wings in duck fat too.
Oh,
Or
wow.
like a 50-50 of like, oil and duck fat. So, because otherwise it's like
Mm-hmm.
$45 worth of freaking, cooking oil. But,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that makes a big, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Food's
Yeah.
great. We love food. I have a question for you.
Answer.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so here's my question. So you are a certified executive pastry chef, right?
Mm-hmm.
The next highest certification is master pastry chef. You're
Mm-hmm.
throwing a last minute dinner party. Some people are coming over that you might want to like mildly impress, right? There's friends, but there's chef friends, right? So we have to like do something, but not, it doesn't have to be like crazy, crazy, crazy. What is your go-to dessert or element of a dessert that you can pull the trigger and it's always like a hit? Like you're like, I'm gonna pull the trigger on this.
So it depends on what time of the year it is, because it'll be something seasonal. So whatever fruit I have in my house at that point in time, if it's an apple, it might be a cobbler,
Mm.
or a bake or a strudel. Um,
Oh yeah.
so those two for sure. If it's I usually always have sweet potato and peanuts in there. So making a mousse, chocolate peanut butter mousse, sweet potato
Yes.
mousse, and making a cheesecake if I got cream cheese in my Frigidaire.
Yeah.
Um, Very rare would it be a cake. It would be going towards the pie, cobbler, or individual type of a pastry. I do like a
Yeah.
little chocolate ganache tart, but I usually don't keep heavy cream in my house. So I would have to know if I had heavy cream to make that ganache, to make a tart with that,
Mm.
and then just keep it simple that way. And I know I can make definitely an eclair or cottage shoe of some sort and do something with
Yeah.
that. So,
Yeah. That's always like pat a shoe, like eclair paste. You could do so
hmm
much with that. You can shape
oh
it into
yeah,
little
yeah.
shapes or whatever, and fill it with
And the filling could be,
mousse.
as simple as a profiterole with ice cream in it. Just put some fruit on it and have a nice day. Or make the pastry cream and even flavoring that. So it just melds so much of what you got in hand. You can always do that.
Yeah. True. 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 Yeah. That sounds good. Okay, I'll come over. Okay, so you've had a very long career. Like you've been like I talked to about your engine that drives. You've stayed in this career for many years. Have you ever thought about switching careers at any point?
Oh, always. I mean, I like to keep my options open. I mean, I was so into when I was teaching culinary. I had opportunity to teach at our community college here and at Johnson
Mm-hmm.
and Wells when they used to be here. I took those and still have my full-time job. So the education part was always there. Um, I was I took and became a certified Toastmaster. So the public speaking part is something that I
Yeah.
considered and is always there. And even if it was just to be better to talk to people, like in this instance, or to better present myself. It was interesting because when I was in Toastmasters on a regular basis, there were people there who like were just new into management, and they didn't know how to talk to their peers, and just to
Mm.
hear them speak, which like something was foreign to me because as a chef, you always know how to talk to, what I mean, you're used to, giving
Yeah.
those orders, giving those yes chef, no whatever, and you're used to talking, but these people who were coming from other entities, whatever, had no clue how to host those monthly meetings, morning meetings, whatever. And or if they were coming from a peer and all of a sudden they got elevated, like how do I now, And so Toastmasters was very giving and teaching. It was a great environment to learn that stuff in. So I like that aspect of it too. So
Yeah.
I've always been very comfortable with doing demonstrations on TV or in public settings, whatever, So that part has always been something that I've always thought about too.
Toastmasters is such a niche thing. The only reason why I know about it, my sister did Toastmasters. She had a hard time with public speaking, and she kind of
hmm
like rose up the ranks in leadership in the company that she worked for. And
hmm
so, um, can you give the listeners like a little snippet of how Toastmasters was helpful?
So they definitely have books, and so the beginning book has, I think, 10 speeches that you're supposed to do
Hmm.
over the course of the time. And I was kind of special because I was I was a little different. That's not the way you normally do it. And we have meetings once a week, and it's like an hour and a half. I think the meetings are very much timed and structured, so everybody's time is important. And you give anywhere from your start off speech, and their theme speeches each book. And but it's in such an environment that people are here to help you. And so if you're one of the people who always says and
That's me.
and so people are timing and people are writing down, there are structures of people who are paying attention to your speeching. Are you using your hands? Are you looking down at the notes? Did you memorize the speech?
Hmm.
And it's just helpful. I mean, are you on time and on point? Because there's a little, like a little stoplight, red, green, and yellow, as far as, if it's a time, they're always a time speech. And so did you hit your points? Did you hit the mark? Did you convey your message? Did you go
Yeah.
over time? Are you under time? What are those conveying words, those nervous words, or how many times you said them? And it's just a great way to learn how to put together a speech, how to present a speech, and then grow from there. Because each week or each time you do a speech, the next one's a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. So you are learning and growing, but it's in a very much positive learning experience.
Yeah. Helps you talk pretty.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
um.
And how to use the room because all speeches are
Yeah.
not just standing in front of a lectern. Some of them, I think my last speech that I needed to do was a recording to do a video or whatever. And then some of my point counterpoints, where you're actually engaging with somebody else, like you would do in like a live debate kind of thing.
Hmm.
And it was funny. I remember that speech where is breakfast the most important meal of the day? And I said no. you know, break it out, and I wanted to point though because breakfast does not. They were going with it like breakfast being 7 o'clock in the morning. I said no because if I'm a person and I'm working at night, then I don't want to eat eggs at 12 o'clock at night. I want to eat a steak. Da da da. So I'm going to break my fast. Whenever I want to break my fast, that's the
Right.
most important meal of the day is to break your fast after you've rested. Whatever, and they weren't thinking that. So it's a great way to aha moments. It really
Yeah.
does help a lot. Truly,
Critical
I
critical
loved it.
thinking.
Oh yeah, it
Um.
really does.
You might find this interesting, but like I taught culinary at a prison for 2 years. I worked for Tallahassee Community College. It's now Tallahassee State College, but they have a contract with the Florida Department of Corrections. So I taught
Hmm.
culinary in a prison for 2 years. But the they have Toastmasters in the prison. You can they had the way where I was. They tied it into what they call gavel club. So they gave
Mm.
the inmates like a set time on a set day to look over law books and talk to. There's a person that's trained in the library, an inmate that's trained in the library that knows like a lot of legal stuff.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of times they get out and they become legal assistants. But yeah, they have, and so they would my students would be like, oh chef, you're saying they would be in yeah, they would be in Toastmasters in prison, and I think it's a was a remarkable tool for them. They definitely would bust my chops about it. Definitely should do the Toastmaster thing,
And
considering
I
how
say I was
podcasting.
I was an anomaly because I had a friend who was already in it and he got me involved in it, and so I was really wanting to get the certification really quick because I had
Mm-hmm.
other things on my plate that I wanted to do it. So I joined actually three different groups,
Mm-hmm.
and which is not the norm. Usually you join one group and you just done. And so I was actually doing at least one speech a week. And so which is not also the norm because if your group is like 15, 20 people, you got no more than three speeches in a night, because depending on
Yeah.
how long each speech is. But I was doing one once a week because I wanted to get it done and I wanted to grow. And it wasn't like I was new to public speaking. That's because I'd already been doing TV demos and I was always
Mm-hmm.
comfortable, but just to hone in and get better,
No,
you
it
know, and
definitely tunes everything up. Like the
oh,
ums and the
definitely.
ers, it's very hard to. I'm struggling with it at this exact moment.
If they can get me, they can get you. I
Yeah,
promise.
practice makes perfect, right?
There you go. That's it. That's the whole key. But you're doing the practice in such a conducive environment that you can't help but to get better and learn.
Yeah, yeah, that's great advice. I love it. You never know who's out there and is like, yeah, I could really brush up on that, and then
Hmm.
you know, that's great advice. Would you like so throughout your career, you founded an ACF pastry guild. I love the word guild first of all, with regard to our like, it's just so very, like rootsy to, you know, our craft, you know? So you founded
Hmm.
this pastry guild. You've held several leadership positions within the ACF and the World Association of Chefs, among other organizations. Would you say to young chefs that, you know, that are coming up, would you advise them to get involved in their local chapters or professional pastry chef organizations? Or do you think maybe in 2024, what do you think? Do you think would you still advise somebody to get involved in because, you know, you never know who's involved in those chapters or whatever.
So as when you're involved like in ACF, you are automatically a member of World Chefs. You know, and most countries, World Chefs is like 10 million, maybe it's more than that at this point in time, but it used to be like 10 million members in 100 something countries, right? And if
Hmm.
you're involved in the national organization of that culinary association, then you're automatically a member of World Chefs. And so, depending on what your goals and what you strive to do with your career, yeah, I know some people who had the intent of going overseas somewhere. Well, World Chefs is a connect. And so, how do you get
Nice.
to World Chefs if you're not already in an association or affiliation? You really can't. You know,
Hmm.
but to make those connections with, you know, say I want to move to Spain, do I know any chefs in Spain in the visa, or do I know any chefs in Paris or at the bottom of, you know, Sicily or something? There are chefs who
Cool.
belong to World Chefs that you can reach out to. You got a contact, whatever, and they can, you know, you start networking that way. So in terms of networking, I would say yes. It's the best way to network in this culinary association because how else do you do it on your own? Yeah, there's social media. You can do that
Hmm.
too, but it's a really good direct connection to somebody or someplace or something that you want to look up and hook up with, possibly.
That's
Um,
awesome.
you know,
I didn't think about that.
yeah, I mean that to me is the best. The networking part to me is the best thing. You know, there are some groups, you know, just to be honest, that just suck in ACF, and there's some groups that are just knocking it out the park. You
Uh-huh.
know, that they don't do anything. And
Hmm.
there's some groups that just are so active. They've got everything. The membership is growing, it's thriving, it's doing everything. And so it
Yeah.
depends on what you want to do. Do you like the community service aspect of it? Do you like the education aspect of it? Or, you know, helping with the students, bringing in and helping our future culinarians get better, thriving? Do you like to network with other chefs locally or in your region, in your state, in your region, in the national level, whatever? So it's
Hmm.
a great way to say it goes back to the networking and what you want to get out of it. I think is what you should consider before you do anything. A lot of people don't think organizations at this time that they're passe or past their time, past their
Hmm.
prime. So you know, a lot of our younger students aren't necessarily into joining because like, what's in it for me? And so I guess
Yeah.
once you can explain to people what's in it from them, then I think they can make that choice, that decision for themselves.
Yeah. So networking, I feel, is one of the best ways to get anywhere.
Mhm.
You know, they always say it's not what you know, it's who you know, really.
Oh, I agree.
Um,
And I'll tell that anyway, when it comes to a job, is, you know, it's who you know get you in the door, what you know keeps you
hmm.
there.
Oh,
And
for
so
sure. Oh, yeah, that's really
you know,
that's
if you
amazing.
don't know anybody, you know, how else are you supposed to get, you know, because all jobs are not posted, you know, but you
Yes.
know somebody who knows somebody. Oh, okay, there you go.
That's right. And then sometimes there's like you said, it's not posted, and there's a position that is like, you know, needs to be filled right away, or what
Exactly.
have you, and it suits your what you're good at. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. I love that. That's fantastic. Let's talk about books. Um
Da,
do
da,
you
da,
have
da.
do you have I was gonna say,
Da,
so
da,
okay,
da,
so
da. Da, da,
this is
da.
so first of all, we talked about your toque. We're going to talk about your toque. You got the old timey toque there,
The old
um,
time talk. Woo!
the round toque,
So, yeah,
um,
oh my God.
and the for the listeners, a toque is. I was just
This
telling my
one
barber
thing
this
right
today.
there.
Yes, it's the tall hat we wear, and
Yeah, 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 yeah.
the ridges in the hat are represent the ways that we can make an egg.
Preparations, yeah, for
Yeah,
eggs.
right. So it's not just like scrambled omelet. We also have like custards. We have meringue.
I
We have
got
three kinds
three
of meringue.
lines.
So I mean, it's like an
And
exponential.
also, the tallest hat, it used to be the tallest token was the chef.
That's right. The taller the hat, the closer to God. That's what they say.
Yeah, see, see, see.
I always look. I'm very short. I'm only 5 feet tall. I look so ridiculous in a very tall hat. Like, and so I get the 6 inchers, which on a average sized person, it looks really silly. It looks like a
Uh-huh.
freaking wedge cap from White Castle or something. But
Who you say my name now? Oh, White Castle. So you talking now? Okay.
White Castle. I know. I That's gonna bring it. Yeah, I have a little surprise for you later. So that is actually we're gonna put a pin in White Castle. But
Okay.
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 So Toques in Black is
hmm
Will you tell the listeners what Toques in Black is?
So this book came out pre-pandemic, and it is a collaboration of 101 African American chefs. It is a story about that chef, about one of their recipes, and the recipes are included, and the fabulous pictures by photographer Alan Batman. He's not a chef, but he is such a foodie.
Mm,
He used to be the official photographer for the city of New York, so he's got
that's amazing.
some photography experience under his belt for sure.
Gorgeous,
He came
gorgeous
to
photos.
everybody's location and shot these on location. I mean, I remember when he came to Charleston and did mine, it was like, oh my God. It was such a great guy, such a great guy. You know, and
Yeah.
he did this on his own. This is out of his own pocket. He did the book himself. You know, so
Oh, he's self.
let me find my favorite page in here. And
Yeah, let's see your favorite page. Oh, and also tell us why.
my favorite page, because, you know, it just looks so sexy.
That is a very sexy photo.
And
So
it's one
this
of my
one,
favorite desserts. Oh, see, this is a high school picture of me with that lovely chef hat on again. And
aw,
yeah. Oh my God, I thought it was hot stuff back in the day.
I
Anyway,
know, didn't
there's
we
the white
all?
chocolate bread pudding with some
Mm,
peaches and the little. Somebody said I should make a plate design out of the painted plate, but I said no,
yeah,
I do that. But
that's a
anyway.
competition plate right there, baby. That's competition. Enclosed sauces. Look at those
Oh yeah.
enclosed sauces.
Oh yeah, you know. And so this book has everything from appetizers, soups, desserts, entrees. It has everything up in here. And then all by chefs. And then you have our
Yeah,
baby pictures on the back of it of
I love
everybody.
the
So
collage.
101. So you
Yeah,
got
that's cool.
101 chefs, 101 recipes. These are all keepers. I mean, I've tried about maybe 10 out the book. I mean,
Hmm.
that black eyed pea fritter by Chef Shack is just to die for. You know?
Chef Shack, she's here in Tallahassee. Yes, a
Uh-huh.
good
Yes,
friend,
yes,
Chef
yes.
Shack. To me, that's like a really beautiful coffee table book or something you would have out because
Definitely.
the pictures people like to thumb through. I mean, 100. First of all, 101 recipes is a lot. There's a lot of recipes. The
Hmm.
photography is beautiful. Um, there's amazing chefs involved, and where can people find that book?
Alan Batman has his online presence, so you can just Google Toques in Black as well,
Yeah,
and you can find them for sure online with that.
yeah. I'll put
Just
it
make
in
sure you
the
spell Toques
description.
right. Toques
Yeah,
with the
Toques
T.
is yeah. This is a Jeopardy word. I feel.
Yeah, yeah, okay. There you
You
go.
know. So I love that. And then I know that you wrote a leadership or contributed to a leadership book,
Oh, okay. So this one, Real Women, Real Leaders.
and I love
It's a
that
book.
title.
Okay, so a friend of mine locally, so I'm about networking. So a friend of mine
Hmm.
locally, her and her sister-in-law put together this book. It's based off of some studies from Stanford University
Hmm.
about leadership and the qualities of how men lead versus how women lead, and the opportunities that we do or do not take. And then the examples in here are, I think it was like 14, 15 ladies who are leaders in their own right, from Fortune 400, 500 companies to a
Hmm.
rowing team captain to somebody who's an executive chef. You know, so it's a hodgepodge of who's who female leadership, and how they what it took for them to get there, and just some examples of leadership based off of some of the studies and testing that Stanford University did. So it's a great book too.
That's
Very motivating.
awesome. And I love that it's several different women, and then so you get a
Mhm.
different perspective from a different
Oh
type of
yeah, the age
discipline.
range,
Yeah,
the ethnic background,
yeah,
the whole profession of everything. It's not just culinary. It's not just been like you got coaches in
yeah,
there. You got Olympic coach. I mean, it's just you got officers, military officer in there. You got a little bit of everything in there from their leadership.
yeah.
So it's a good
That's
book.
awesome. And so where can people find that one?
This one you can go on Amazon. You can go Barnes and Noble. Yeah, those two for sure right there.
Awesome. I have a game for us to play.
I like
Okay, this is
games.
a game. This is a game I like to call 86 or 68, right? So 86 means get rid of it, 68 means keep it. Okay? So because you're a certified executive pastry chef, you
Hmm.
know, you started a pastry guild. I mean, no big deal. But we're gonna dial it down a little bit, and we're gonna do. So this one, we're just gonna go by the name of it because it hasn't released yet. But Taco Bell Baja Blast flavored gelato.
68 that.
What's wild to me is that it's gelato. Like, that's the wild part to me. Like, what? Okay. McDonald's hot fudge sundae.
68.
Yes, keep. Sorry. I keep forgetting which one is 68 and which one's 86. Okay. 68 is keep it. It's been a long day.
As long as the machine works, you know how that goes.
I know, really. It's so. But I will
just
say,
spend a couple of dollars on it.
Yeah, I would eat a McDonald's hot fudge sundae right now with the peanuts on top. I don't know if they still do that, but they used to do peanuts on top. Probably not.
I remember those. Yeah.
They were so creamy, crunchy, salty, sweet. Right? Okay. Taco Bell cinnamon twists.
86.
86. Okay. Okay. How about this one? Arby's orange cream shake.
86. No.
You're not an orange cream person, right?
No.
Okay. Krispy Kreme.
68.
Dunkin' Donuts.
So my caveat is.
Oh, go ahead.
I got a Krispy Kreme like 2 miles from my house, but I prefer Dunkin' or somebody else because Krispy Kreme is so damn sweet. They're so sweet. They
are sweit.
I can't take all that sugar.
I know the toppings on there are like, I mean, your tooth is like gonna fall out when you're eating it.
Okay, I also, if I go to get a donut, I like a cake donut over the other donut.
I am a old-fashioned cake donut kind of person.
Oh my God, or the blueberry or whatever, or the chocolate, whatever. I'm a cake girl. That's why I take the other donut. So.
Yes, there's more there. You know what I mean? Okay, what about Shamrock Shake 86 or 68?
Is that mint flavored? If it's mint flavored, I'll take it.
I think it is mint flavored. I've never had one. I think it is mint.
It's been so long.
If it's mint.
Okay, I'll keep that one. 68.
Okay, Shamrock Shake. Okay. Okay. Starbucks pumpkin spice latte.
86. I'm just tired of hearing about it.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing about it. 86 that.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not a pumpkin spice person, but
it has its place, but I don't want that in my coffee.
Okay, so lastly, where can people find you, and do you have anything to promote at the moment?
No, well, I'm here in Charleston. They can find me online. I'm social with Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, LinkedIn. I have a website, KimberlyBrockBrown.com. Kimberly Brock Brown on Facebook, Chef Kimberly 100 on X or Twitter.
It has been so awesome to talk to you. I am so happy that you carved out some time to talk to me on the pod, and that the listeners got to listen to you. You're such a legend. You have like you have had this extraordinary career. You continue to inspire me. I'm certain that you're going to continue to inspire people coming up as they get to know you. And thank you for coming on the pod.
No, well, thank you for asking me. I appreciate the opportunity. Like I said, somebody poured into me, so all I can do is pour out whatever I have. I don't know everything, don't know everybody, but what I do know, I'm happy to share.
Yes, that's right. That's amazing. That's the way to be. I feel the same. Yeah. So, well, thank you, Chef Kimberly Brock Brown. It's been awesome, and we will catch up very soon.
Love it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for listening, guys. I want to encourage you to head over to Spotify, head over to Apple Podcasts, or head over to YouTube and give us a rating. Leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing. Or when I say us, I mean me. Let me know how I'm doing. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a 5-star review.